God. Ask God.
Hey Scott, this is Dan calling from Northern New Jersey. I love the podcast and all that you do, so thanks a lot. Appreciate it. My question is regarding having materials made up for our products, such as instruction manuals or ebooks, so that we can include them to the buyer for each package. Now, I've noticed that some of the products I've purchased on Amazon come with either a nice instruction flyer or some sort of booklet, and was wondering if you had any recommendations or resources that we can use to do the same for our customers. For example, let's say you have a fitness product and you need to show users the different ways that they can use a product. Where would you go to find people to pose for pictures, people to take pictures, and also people to put together everything in a package and provide a customer either a physical format like a book or an ebook? Or let's say you have a new kitchen gadget. You know, where do you go to find people who are willing to be in the pictures and also maybe find a nice setting that you can take the pictures in so that they can be used in either the listing itself or, as I mentioned, included as some sort of booklet or a pamphlet with the product. So hope that wasn't too long. Thanks again, Scott. Appreciate everything you do.
Hey, Dan, thank you so much for the question from New Jersey. What's going on, man? I am from upstate New York originally, so we're kind of neighbors in a sense. I've probably passed through your neck of the woods going to a Giants game. Not sure if you're a Giants fan or a Patriots fan or a Jets fan, but hopefully a Giants fan. And if not, we're still friends. It's okay. I'm okay with that. I won't hold that against you. All right. So let me just answer your question. First off, again, let me just say thank you for being a listener. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you submitting a question. This is a great question because I think having some printed material with your product will definitely make it a better experience for the customer. Now, not every product is going to lend itself to having printed material, but I think a lot of it will. And it's funny, every time that I receive a new product myself, just from buying stuff, like I literally just bought a mat for underneath, like right now I'm standing. I should have probably mentioned that. This is like my first recording, I believe, with the podcast that I'm standing. I'm standing right now with a new desk that I have, that's a stand-up desk, and I'm on a mat, and it really feels good to be standing up because before I was always sitting and I just project better, but I also feel better, the back's better, all that fun stuff. But anyway, back to the topic here. So I'm always tearing open the boxes or taking them apart carefully, and I'm looking and seeing like what do they put in there that is really good from some of these major brands. I just bought. I'm actually using them today. I bought the Beats. They're not they're the wireless ones, the Bluetooth ones, and they're supposed to be more for just everyday listening, not for like necessarily like listening to like really bassy music and stuff. So it's I believe they're the Beats X. My son helped me pick them out this weekend, but I like them because they are wireless. They fit right around your neck, whatever, right? But I took the packaging apart, and him and I were both going through it because he knows. Again, I always talk to him about this stuff. So we were looking at the packaging, and we were looking at how things were placed and the printed material and like all of that stuff. So I think if anyone is thinking about like packaging or anything like that, like pay attention to what you're receiving when you buy something. Again, like marketing material, like look at their marketing material, look and see how they are leading you back to maybe their website, or maybe they're leading you back to a resource. I bought a lens for my phone not that long ago, and they had it where you could go and post your pictures that you created with that lens to create that experience. So there's ways that we can take that printed material and then just give them a better experience, and that's really important because then you can get better reviews and feedback, and then people start buying into your brand and all that stuff. I know that doesn't have anything to do with your question of where do you get this stuff created, and I'm going to kind of get there. One place is 99 Designs, but you are going to have to give them what you want. So if you don't have someone that can write this stuff for you, then you're going to have to hire someone to do that. And that would be someone like even an influencer in your space that's maybe selling the kitchen gadgets. You would hire them to do like a major review on it where they would write a whole bunch of stuff, and then you can have an editor pull that stuff out and then create, that guide of how to use it. I think probably most of us could write a really rough draft and then have an editor kind of make it clean and make it, where it's more polished. If you don't have any skills on that, then you are going to have to hire someone. Now, a graphic designer isn't necessarily going to create the written stuff as far as like the creative, right? They're going to just take it and make it look pretty. So if what you're asking is like, where do you get like an ebook written? I've always used iWriter.com in the past, and I've had good luck with them. They have some different levels to their packages. I always go with the top because I'm willing to spend more to get better quality, especially if it's something that's going to be printed and used over and over and over again. The other thing is your photographer, okay, again, we're talking a little bit about like packaging and all of that stuff. Like you asked, like, where do you get that stuff? Like, where do you get the pictures taken to put in those brochures? A lot of times a photographer has resources to hook you up with a location shoot, right? Maybe it's someone that they know that has a really nice gourmet kitchen, and then they reach out to them, they rent their kitchen for a day or for 2 hours. And then you go in there and you do your shots and they do the setup. Yes, it's going to cost you money, okay? Any of this stuff that you want to do a little bit more high-end, high quality is going to cost you more money. But, my good friend Jared, who I had on the show, he spends up to $1,500 to have photos taken of his products. Now, again, that sounds like a lot of money, but he does like 5 different products in that photo shoot. So he's technically getting 5 product shots of, I think, about 8 to 10 each with lifestyle, with actual models coming in, location shoots, like all of that stuff for $1,500. Now, again, to a lot of people, that's a lot of money. But if you can find a really good photographer locally, generally, $300 to $500 for a day's worth of shooting and maybe even editing is probably about the going rate. And again, if you want to invest in your product material, it's definitely worth it. And he really swears by it, and I do as well, that, that product image or images is going to help sell that product. It's like the closest thing for them or to them coming in your store and actually seeing the item and feeling it and touching it and having really clean photography. And, they are able to create what we call in the photography world, like a shallow depth of field where the background is kind of out of focus, but the product is really crisp and clean. You've probably seen that. Maybe you're not even aware that you've seen that, but that's more of a professional look. And a lot of these photographers know how to do that. So photography's big. Finding someone that can write really good about your product, but I would just come up with your bullet points and then have someone create maybe a better version of your bullet points to really elaborate on that. Because that way there it can, again, make it just sound more professional. But again, if you want someone to write a guide to help them, well, again, you should have like those 5 things that that your customer is going to need to do to use this thing, right? And then from there, again, you can hire someone to do that. You can hire someone at Upwork. That's basically a marketplace for freelancers, and you can find people there that can write. You could go to Fiverr. You're probably gonna have to do a lot more digging in Fiverr than you would at Upwork, because you can kind of see their credentials, and then you can even hire them as even just doing like a test product or a project, and then from there you can hire them to do the full-fledged the flyers. Or again, if you have your content that you want done in these guides and stuff, you can go to 99 Designs. Now, 99 Designs is going to cost you probably for something like that, probably anywhere from $300 to $1,000, depending. Because again, you're having them do more than just a logo or more than just like one side. You're going to have them do like pages. So that could add up. So again, those are some resources. Maybe reach out locally. Maybe there's someone that's in your network right now that you know of that is a graphic designer, or maybe some type of designer, or maybe a photographer. Maybe you have a friend that knows a photographer or a designer. I always like to try to find people, if I can, locally, so that way there you can have lunch with them or a coffee with them, and you can talk about what your project, and then they can work on it, and then you can kind of go back and forth. But if you don't have that resource, you can always, like I said, go to 99 Designs, you can go to Fiverr, you can go to Upwork. There's a lot of different resources. If you want someone to write an ebook that's all about, maybe, like you said, maybe you are selling a kitchen device and you want to have someone write a cookbook, you could go to iWriter and say, I want a cookbook written with 25 recipes of X, desserts or something like that. And then they're going to do the research. And then they also have things there where they'll have, so this way here, they're not just plagiarizing, they're not copying. There's actually a filter that gets run through that will allow you pretty accurately, from what I understand, to where it will say, I think it's called Copyscape, where it will run it through so they can see if there's anything out there that they find that's been, that's been plagiarized, because we don't want that either. And then also, once it's done, you own it and all of that stuff. So that's what I would say. I would try to do as much as I could roughly and then hand it off to an editor if I could do that. And then as far as imagery goes, as far as images and all that stuff, photographer, graphic designer, you can find those either locally or you can find those on, like I said, 99 Designs, Fiverr, or Upwork. So hopefully this has been helpful. I know it was a lot to take in, but it really is important, I think, with packaging and guides and brochures and stuff like that, to have that stuff created and have it look really high end. Yes, you're investing up front, but you're also giving that customer a really good experience. And when they touch that, when they touch the packaging, when they touch the booklet, there's just something to being able to touch it that makes it seem like a better quality versus just an ebook. Now, that doesn't mean you can't also give them the ebook as a download before they even get the product to get them excited about it. You could also do that if you wanted to. Well, hey there. Thank you so much for listening to that episode of Ask Scott. Now, that was just a highlight from one of our full episodes where I generally answer 3 to 4 questions on a podcast. If you want to go back and listen to all of the past archives of not just the Ask Scott session, but all of the full episodes where I do interviews with top Amazon sellers, people starting from scratch and building a business, if you want to listen to any of those episodes, head over to theamazingseller.com and you can find all of that over there. You can also find details there on how you can ask your own question and get it aired on an upcoming Ask Scott session and possibly see it here on YouTube or just on the podcast. All right, so definitely head over to theamazingseller.com. There's tons of resources over there for you to be able to build your e-commerce and Amazon business. So definitely go check that out. Now, I just wanted to remind you one thing before I let you go. There's a lot of information out there and some of it is really, really good. What I want you to remember is you have to not just consume the information, you have to actually apply that information. So take this information that you learned here today and apply it to your business. And this way here, you can get results. As my shirt says, I wear it almost daily. Take action. We'll see you guys.